promised you that we'll be chatting to a presidential candidate. And get this, he's from the ANC. Yeah. Now, you're going to find out what I mean. From business to politics, Alexander Cummings, the former executive vice president and chief administrative officer of Coca-Cola, has now joined the race to be Liberia's presidential elections. He is quoted as having said that his mission is to create a society consisting of an active citizenry and will make policy decisions based on the will of the majority. Alexander Cummings is in the country joining us this morning. Welcome to you. Thank you very much for joining us on the program.
Good to be here with you, Peter.
So I told people that you're with the ANC. Tell us what that means.
It means the Alternative National Congress as opposed to the African National Congress.
Right.
But when the party was formed in 2013, it was deliberate to try to make the connection to the historical ANC in South Africa and create something similar in Liberia.
So a lot of people don't know that Liberia was never colonized. It's the oldest republic on the continent. And the question I have for you is, why haven't you made greater strides? Because you had the biggest head start of all.
I think for several reasons. One, we have had a mixed history of leaders and leadership. And this is part of the reason why I'm interested in pursuing the presidency in Liberia. I think also we had to do it on our own as Liberians being the first republic, not being colonized. And so that created its own challenges. But I have to say, though, Liberia has had a lot of firsts that isn't well known and that we're very proud of. You know, the beginnings of the Organization of African Unity, which is now the AU, actually started in a conference with President Tutman in Santa Cola, Liberia. And so Liberia was a party to that. Liberia is a great maritime nation today because a lot of the maritime laws were written by Liberian lawyers. And so there are many firsts that we have that we're very proud of. And then most recently we've had a period of civil war, which also impacted our ability to grow our country.
You're a career corporate guy. You've done very well in business. Why would you want to give all of that up and become president of Liberia?
Because I think Liberia deserves a different kind of leader. Because I think the skills that I bring, skills of consistent delivering results, of holding people accountable, of making choices, of listening to your consumers and customers. We need to listen to the citizenry of Liberia. I think all those skills lend itself to helping to transform Liberia. I'm very committed to our people. I think we should be at a better place, to your earlier question, than we are today. And so I think the sacrifice I'm prepared to make is worth it because everything I am today is because of that country. And I feel an obligation to go back and help.
Some people might say you've been away from home too long now to really get what's happening in Liberia, to be able to be effective there.
I really don't think I've been away from home. Although I've had an international business career, I've never left Liberia. I've been in and out of the country. I've engaged with the society, with the people. I understand the challenges. I grew up there. Most of my education, surprises people, was in Liberia. All of my values are from that country. So I feel very related and very connected to Liberian people and understand the challenges of the country.
Last count, there were something like 22 parties that are going to be competing in the elections in 272 days from now. Does that mean that we're going to get into a space like Kenya where coalitions need to be formed? And would you be prepared to be part of a coalition that you don't lead?
The answer is several folds, Peter. One is, although there are 22 political parties, not all are going to field candidates. But to answer your question specifically, we are considering coalitions. I'm not prepared to not lead one of those coalition partners. So my goal is to work with others, not just to win, but to govern, because I think it's important we have an inclusive government, but I want to lead the coalition and not work for one.
The region where Liberia is placed, I mean, the countries around you have gone through very difficult times. Some would even say that Liberia is still in the midst of a fragile peace. You become president tomorrow. Your UN forces have left now. Can you secure the country? Are you happy that the country is secure? And what do you do with your president today? What would you do with Gambia, for example?
So several questions in there. One, I think Liberia is secured. It's been 11 years since we've had a civil war. And historically, 10 years is a big marker to not revert to instability. And so we've crossed that marker, and I'm very confident that trend will continue. Liberia is as free as it's ever been in its history. And I think that bodes well for the future of the country and for the security and peace in Liberia. In the case of Gambia, I think when you lose an election, I think you should walk away. I think too often African leaders don't want to give up power and give the next person. I think a fresh set of eyes, a different direction is always good for a country, for organization, for a business. And so I would encourage the president to gracefully walk away. He conceded. And I would encourage him to live up to that concession speech.
All right. So it's unfortunate we've run out of time, but there was an issue about your American citizenship. Have you renounced that? Are you eligible to run for president?
Well, I'm not an American. I'm a Liberian. I've always been a Liberian. I often say, Peter, I was born a Liberian. I am a Liberian, and I'll probably die a Liberian, hopefully a long time from now. Okay. So I am eligible to run, and I'm confident we'll actually win the election.
All right. Hopefully we'll have a longer conversation with you next time you're in South Africa. But thank you so much for coming through. Lovely meeting you.
Thank you, Peter.
Thank you. Great.
Thank you very much.
All right. So we're going to take a quick break, and when we come back, more for you. There's so much we could have talked about, but anyway, more in another day.